All right, guys, I'm so happy to be here with you. Ah, what a beautiful, beautiful day. Okay, we are getting ready. We've got Reinvent. Guys, this today is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Reinvention, the identity shift that changes everything. So, this is going to be a really incredible masterclass and we're going to talk first about what reinvention really is, how we're going to really do more of like the teaching portion. And the second half, I'll do more around coaching and answering questions and giving the opportunity for hot seats and whatnot. I definitely received several questions that I will be answering here today. But reinvention, the identity shift that changes everything. This webinar is ideally for the woman who is in a major life transition. Maybe she's in midlife, she's 35 and up, and is really ready to do things differently. She's ready to live life for herself by her own rules. I always say reinvention is you have the opportunity to design your life and your identity by your design, not by default. So in today's masterclass, we're going to go through a four-prong process that's actually going to support you in creating your next level identity. What we're also going to do is really speak into who this really is for and why identity and reinvention trumps manifestation. So if you are somebody that has been really feeling this pull on your heart, this calling to something greater, knowing that you're meant for more, and maybe you're sitting in your life and saying, is this it? Is this it? Like, I feel like there was something else. I feel like I'm being called to something, and maybe you're lacking the clarity, or maybe there's a lot of fear, and there's a major life event or transition that's happened for you. And that could be anything from getting married to getting separated, having children, being an empty nester, losing a loved one. These major life events have us reflect on our life and our life's choices. They have us go inward and start to look at life zoomed out from a different lens. And this masterclass today is really for, we know I always teach Indian style. This masterclass today, I'm so happy to have you all here, is really, it's for those that are sitting there and they're going, I know I'm meant for more. I feel the fear, and what I'm being called to feels so big or so different, or I'm afraid that it's going to alienate the people that I love the most. I'm afraid that I'm going to change. And a lot of that fear that can stop you. So what we're going to do today is actually give you a framework to not only get clear, but to understand what you're being called to and why, and to really, really understand why this is happening to you right now at this time in your life. I know that it can feel scary. And I know that when you have a call on your heart to live an extraordinary life, that feels really big. And I know the women that follow me, the women, those that are here today, everyone that has signed up, I know we're streaming on multiple platforms. It's because you know that you're being called, that you want extraordinary, that you don't want ordinary, that you're a woman that doesn't settle. You're a woman that strives and has achieved a lot of success, and that you're ready for that next level. And maybe that involves a complete reinvention. Maybe that's pivoting, but we can't get there without the clarity. And one of the things and reasons why I'm here and really adamant about this is I see so many investing in strategy, investing in more knowledge, or getting caught down the rabbit hole of ingesting information from here, from here, from here, that's pulling them further away from their truth. That's actually disconnecting them from their own intuition. And or the strategy is getting caught in doing things the way that somebody else is telling you to versus what your heart and soul is calling you to. And now more than ever, is the call to actually come back into your power, is to know that you have all the answers inside of you. It's the time to inner source instead of outer source. and to start to look within and develop our own intuition and our intuitive gifts. So I want to start off, we're going to go into the teaching. Sorry guys, I was in Mexico and I had like a 20-hour trip back. And I tell you, every person, it was like I was in a, I was planning our next retreat in the spring in San Miguel. I love San Miguel. So I'm just going to give you a little backstory. If you hear me sniffling and I've got my cup of tea here, I got in the airport and then there was a 7-hour delay. And when I tell you that it was like, you know, in Devil Wears Prada, when she's like, it's like an incubus of viral plague, like everyone was coughing, sneezing. No one was covering their mouths. Kids were sick, running. Like it was, I felt like everywhere I looked, and now I'm feeling a little run down. So I'm a little nasally, but it's okay. So for those of you that are new to me, that don't know about me, I do want to share why I'm so passionate about this and who I am. So I'd be remiss if I didn't. I've been in the transformational space for 20 years. I literally started when this was like not even a thing that you could get a real degree in. We had to get it sourced through SUNY Purchase College in New York. And I took so let's start. When we talk about the ultimate reinvention, I was in fashion in New York for 12 years. And I sat there and said, wow, I love this. And I had every girl's dream job. I was sent to Japan to trend shop. I went to Australia multiple times a year. I got to run my own business within a business. I was in New York City. I lived in the West Village. It was epic. I had a corporate account. I got all these free things out the wazoo of the best of the best. Like, I mean, it was amazing. And I look back and I'm like, I really did. And I did that for 12 years. I was self-taught with fashion. I made my own prom dress. I didn't know. I just knew that I loved creativity. I loved design. I love fashion. Fashion's a form of self-expression, and I loved it. And I went to New York, and this is truly when I say we can never really outline. All we can do is have a desire in our heart, and trust me, the rest will unfold for you. So those of you that have these dreams where you're like, how, why, you don't need to know the how. I'm telling you, I had no idea the how. I could not even tell you the random sequence of events that brought me to doing what I did for 10 years in handbag accessory design. And before that, 2 years in jewelry and wedding jewelry, actually. And I used to style brides. But I say all of this. So I did a complete reinvention. I asked myself, if this was what I'm doing, I felt this call on my heart to do more. I knew that I wanted to help women. I knew I had a story. I knew that I had struggled with my body, with my weight, with my health. And people would always ask me, and can you show me what you're doing? And I was like, there's something here. There's something I'm being called to. And like I said, I've been in a transformational space for 20 years, but I went back to school for holistic nutrition. Like I said, there was not a degree like there is now for, and positive psychology, all of these things. None of this existed. So I have credentials in, you name it, I have it. I'm a master life coach. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I'm a master hypnotherapist. Oh my gosh, breathwork practitioner, Reiki healer, somatic work, nervous system regulation. I've got it. Grief counseling, supporting with couples. Guys, I can go on. I have credentials. It's crazy. But I say all of this to you because I think it's important for you to know where you're getting information from. So when I started supporting women, and I also had the psychology of food, self-sabotaging behaviors in women. And I'm also a world-renowned intuitive, yes. But I say all of this because it's important that you know where you're getting this information from. So I started in this space, and as I teach reinvention, I reinvented myself over and over again. I'm a small town girl that moved to New York City. I went to all girls private Catholic school, and this was Delaware is where I grew up. It's not the fashion capital of the world by any means. I mean, at our main mall, I'm totally aging myself. But did anybody do like Contempo Casuals? It was like Contempo Casuals, Limited, and the Gap. And I wore a uniform. And I share all of this with you because when I stepped into the transformational space, the women that came in, I started off supporting them I was known as the done with dieting girl. I was like, I had disordered eating, struggled with my body, body image issues, self-esteem, all the things. So when I started, I was like, that's where I started. I supported women we had a program, Weight Loss for Life, Love Your Body, Lose the Weight. And it was truly about being done with dieting, learning how to connect in with your body, heal your relationship with food. And from there, I moved into complete transformational work and mindset and so on. And so in this, one of the things that I've seen after working with thousands of women have gone through our programs, it was never about the food. And it's never about the weight. It's always about you with you. And what I found so much that of the women that were called to me and came into my space was that they were empathic, intuitive, highly sensitive women that had prioritized everyone else over themselves. And as a result of that, there were struggles with weight. There was heightened inner critic and high perfectionist. So if you are a high achieving woman that is a perfectionist, when I say perfectionist, guys, I'm not talking about a perfectionist like everything has to be perfect. I mean, you see yourself through the critical lens of perfection, meaning that anything you do is never really enough. That no matter what it is, you still have to work harder, be more. And what I can say right now in the world of women that I am seeing if you, and really see if this is you, are you a chameleon? Have you, and can you go into any room? And you could say this is a superpower, but I'm gonna talk about the flip. You're a chameleon. You can make anybody feel comfortable. And whatever is going on, you could take you anywhere and you will find a way to morph yourself into whatever is needed. Do you, and when you walk into a room, if there's all these people having a good time and there's people that you can pick up on, like you can actually pick up that they're struggling or they're uncomfortable, and you'll go over to make them feel comfortable. Do you struggle with being seen on social media, at your office, even at home with your loved ones, in your family dynamic? Is it hard for you to take up space? Do you find that you often apologize for absolutely no reason? Somebody will bump into you and you're like, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Do you deflect compliments? Somebody says, oh my, this, and you right away need to go back and tell them why you're not whatever, and you don't look good and you didn't lose weight, but they're amazing. Do you have a hard time receiving in general? Compliments, money, gifts? Is it uncomfortable for you? Do you feel that right away you need to give something back? You need to match it? Do you often outsource your opinions on what you should do to other people? Do you know that when you need to make a major life decision, you end up talking to 4 or more people instead of just being here with yourself? Do you find more faith in their views of you and what to do versus yourself with you? So if you relate to any of those, let me know in the chat which one really spoke to you that you know. And the last that I'm going to say is, have you found that you have struggled with your weight for most of your life? Have you found that it is hard for you to fully be yourself and show people yourself, that right now in your life, you know that there's aspects of yourself or ways of being or dreams that you have that really only you know about, that you haven't shared with too many others, maybe for fear of judgment? So what I have noticed and have come to, I would just say, understand in this so much in the world of transformation, and when we're wanting to really shift into our next level, is that the woman that's being called right now, she is highly intuitive and she is an empath, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But when you're 40 and above, you came from a time and space when it was not okay to say what you wanted to say, when it was not okay to be angry, and it was not okay to be sad, and it was not okay to be too sexy. In fact, your primary role was to look happy and kind of be quiet, to look pretty and be more silent. That day and age, that way of being, although ingrained in you, is not serving you. And it actually was never you. You've just learned to really dampen down who you are and the powers that make you you. And the call to arms now for women is to really show up powerfully, to step into who you were meant to be, to no longer suppress your emotions, to understand that emotions are nothing more than vibrational frequencies that need to move throughout the body. But we have to stop giving emotions meaning, and we have to stop outsourcing our power to other people to know what is true for us, and to start to inner source and connect in to the true power that you have that lives inside of you, which is your intuition. And that starts with the body. And when people really come to me, it's because my view in transformation and what I do is very different, because I believe it all starts with the body, that your body is the vessel for all manifestation. And the way that you treat it, the way you talk to it, what you ingest, both through your mouth, mentally, internally, is all creating for you or against you based off of who you be and what you believe to be true for you. But the only truth that exists is the one that you believe to be true. And that comes from you. So we want to stop outsourcing our power. We want to stop giving our dreams and our desires over to society and culture and old dynamics and ways of being that were never us to begin with. So if you're sitting here and you're going, Melissa, I know I'm being pulled to something different. I know I have been that chameleon. That chameleon has cost you yourself, because being a chameleon can be wonderful in several aspects of business and showing up. And it's lovely for other people because you make them feel comfortable. But often you're making them feel comfortable at a cost to yourself. You're actually dimming your own light and suppressing your own self-expression to connect with other people that aren't on your vibration. And in lowering your vibration, you're lowering your frequency, and then you're lowering your actual view of who you be and what you're able to receive. So when we actually want to shift our identity, we need to be clear on who we truly are. And what I love is really bringing women back into wholeness. It's coming back to the truth of who you are before you ever thought you were less than, whether due to a number on the scale, a trauma, or any limiting belief. So let me just share with you guys. So aside from all of the women that we've worked with, I just want to tell you from my own personal experience, I've not only reinvented myself multiple times, but I've had to actually clearly acknowledge the parts of me that aren't allowing myself to fully show up, and how that happens and what that looks like. And so in doing that, guys, I had to not only completely leave my first career, start the new one, but I had no idea how to start an online business. And you're also talking to somebody that at the time, social media was not what it is. I think like MySpace was just ending and Facebook was coming around. So the idea of having to be visible and be online and be seen, and not only that, believe in myself when you're talking to a girl that struggled with disordered eating and body image issues and all the things, I just sat there and I took the leap. I had faith in what my soul was calling me to, but I actually had no real idea of what I was getting myself into, right? Like at all. And to build a brand and to build a business, or to step into another dream, right? Step into another calling. We have to become the version of us that we've never been before. We have to lean into the fear. And I always say fear is your fortune teller. On the other side are your greatest dreams realized. My brain's a little slow working me here. And so I'm like, I'm not on all cylinders today. I wish I was feeling better. Okay. So what I want to tell you is that when you do feel the call, it would be crazy to think that you're not going to have fear. But that fear, the greater the fear, the greater the gift. So if you're sitting there right now and you're going, Melissa, I just don't want next year. I don't want to be where I am right now. Understand that every time we have a goal unattained, there is a reason. You have a subconscious contract. There is a nuanced narrative, which is what I teach, which is really saying this is not safe. I was just on with a client earlier, and she was really settling for being uncomfortable in her body, for being uncomfortable and having pain in her body, and was just kind of, and I said, I know you're bypassing this, but we're going to go there today. And when we got into the fear, when I brought her into that space, the fear lived in her belly, where often for women, energetically, fear will live in the heart space, the sacral, or in the belly. Those are like the three most and the throat, I'm sorry. Those four are the most prominent where our fear can live, right? And the womb is very, very heavily energetic ties to our identity and to breaking. And so what I want to tell you, once we got down to it, we'll just call her Sarah, she realized the fear is that if she actually becomes the healthiest version of herself and releases the weight, the fear there is that she's no longer going to have a connection point with the people that she loves the most. And that she's not only is she not going to be accepted, she's not going to be loved. Do you guys understand how big that is? How huge that was? That was like, oh my God, groundbreaking. Why? Because all this time she's thinking that she's just procrastinating, that she's sabotaging her own success, that she's doing all, and I'm like, that is not it at all. Fear is a protector. We need to identify the protector and what its purpose is. And once we got into it, we really understood, of course she's going to continue to overeat, because her very survival, her livelihood, the love in her life, the people that she loves the most, she has a subconscious belief that her weight, her struggle with her weight is their primary point of connection. And that if you take that away, that she's not going to have points of love and connection with others around her, the people that she loves the most. So when we really got down to it, I said, well, wow, that's doing a disservice to the people that you love, thinking that they want to see you at a space, and that it's really doing disservice to yourself and to them to think that the true nature of your relationship has to do with you not being happy and struggling with your health. But this is what happens with fear. So we want to identify those fears. And that's what we want to understand, that identity work isn't a one and done. It's not like, oh, I just decided. You have to choose it over and over again until it becomes the dominant version of you. But that dominant version of you doesn't come by you sitting and just manifesting or looking at a vision board. That dominant version of you has to come with action. And what I'm seeing so much in the realm of manifestation is a lot of falling into just the feminine energy. I'm visualizing it. I wrote about it. That's great. I've got a vision board. That's awesome. I did this ritual. I can see it. I can feel it. I'm like, I love it. Now, what did you do today? And it's like, oh, well, I did my morning routine, or and I'm like, but that's great. But what are we actually doing to make this happen for you? Which, when I hear this over and over and over again, which I have, I was like, oh, okay, this is fascinating. This is fascinating. All of these incredibly high achieving, successful women aren't getting their manifestations, and they're messaging me and asking for tips on this and this and this. And when I'm asking them, this is what I'm hearing. So what that tells me is there is a lack of an embodied state. There's actually not action to be taken. We need to marry the masculine with the feminine. We have to take action. And so I believe there are a lot of myths going on right now about how to actually take yourself to the next level and up level. And I don't believe, and I keep seeing investments in strategy, but if you create a business, a next level you, whatever you want to create, if you do it from a faulty foundation and you don't actually believe in you, or believe that it can last, or that it's meant for you, then you can do all the steps, but you're going to strive and you're going to struggle and you're going to hustle, but you're not going to get there and stay there. And whatever you do create is going to come from lack and fear. instead of your true desire. And I know this because I did this. I built a very successful coaching business based off of hustle and grind and doing and paying for this master. I mean, so much investing in this mastermind and do it my way. And I'll show you. And I'm talking launch after launch after launch. And I'm sitting in a mastermind and all these women are like, I have adrenal fatigue. And our coach was like, adrenal fatigue doesn't exist. And I was like, well, it does. It's a real thing. And it doesn't feel good. And then I had cancer. And I just sat there and I said, kind of throw that out. But I'm going to say this because I then got thyroid cancer. And I was like, yes, because the metaphysical component is I'm not expressing my true self. I'm following another model. So yeah, you can invest in all the strategy and yeah, you can be successful doing it, but you're going to find that you created a business and a life that you're going, wait a minute, this is like, I've now created golden handcuffs of my own making to a business that's exhausting me and it's not really fulfilling me. And I'm supporting others in these huge dreams. And it's awesome that they're realized, but what am I dreaming about? And so for everyone that's here, that wants to start a coaching business or an entrepreneur or a wannabe-preneur, and you have a dream and a desire on your heart and you want to express and you want to share, or you want to be a consultant, or you just want to have more money within your business and you want more of you, whatever you're doing in your life, it has to come with the clarity of what you're truly desiring and not I'm going to create this identity based off of what makes sense because of my age and who I am right now and how much money we have in the bank account. And I'm going to design this based off of, right, in the United States, you retire at this age. Like, what is retire? Like, it has the word tired in it. Why, like, we're still talking about retirement at the same age that it was in like 1950. Like, we're now it's proven that we can live well past 100, that the body can survive. It's the mind that degrades the body. So if we know that and we can change the way we view our body and the way that we start to relate to our body, talk to our body, fuel our body, this vessel is what supports you in your manifestation, your creation, and your success. Your body, lady loves, is your bank account. So we need to start to look within and say, what do I want to create? And then get really clear, not from, I'm going to create an identity and my next level of version and vision and my next set of goals based off of who I am right now. No. I'm not, and we're not going to create them based off of what makes sense and what's realistic. And of course, it would make sense that I could increase my income by this much because realistically, no. We want to bring in laws of manifestation and law of attraction. And I want you to come from the desired reality of what is my ultimate dream? What do I ultimately want for me? Who do I want to be? Because guys, when you decide, it happens fast and the universe will meet you. But I keep seeing women come in and they have a lot of ambiguity. And if you're unclear and you say things like, I want to be successful, what does that mean? I want to live a happy life. I want my life to be extraordinary. What is extraordinary? Because extraordinary for you and extraordinary for me could be two completely different things. So we really want to get clear. And then we need to take plan B off the table and go all in fiercely on the version of you that you want to be. Take the rest off the table. You want to release the weight? Go all in. Stop going back and forth. Maybe I'll intermittent fast. I don't know. I'm going to detox. Keto worked for me. I'm going to try this. I just watched this video. Stop. Go all in on you. And then use this vessel of divine creation to be your power, your source, your divine guidance to lead you to where you're supposed to be. But all too often, we're getting overwhelmed, the constant scrolling, the comparison, and then letting fear dictate our next step and letting our comfort zone be our barometer for what our next level set of goals should be. No, your comfort zone is based off of your past identity. If you really want to change, which is why I believe you're here, or else you wouldn't even be listening to this or have signed up for this, then that's you getting to a point where you have to be so sick of yourself and going, there is no way I will let myself stay the same this time next year. Now, you're not doing it from a place of I'm broken or there's something wrong with me or I hate. No, Any investment that you make in yourself is investing in your wholeness, not your brokenness. It's investing in, I'm already amazing, but I'm going to strip away all of the limitations. I'm going to strip away all of the roles, all of the old identities, all of the old stories that tell me that I can't, or that I have to dream smaller, or that it's not going to work. I'm going to remove all the things. I don't care if I've struggled with my weight in the past, because this version of me, she's healthy, and this is her healthy girl era, and she's going big, and she's going to look better than ever. I don't care what happened with me with money in the past, because from this point forward, I make millions. I don't care what happened in business in the past, because this one's a success. Your success is inevitable when you say it is, when you believe it. But what I have found, and why I've even created Reinvention, is because Reinvention is your fastest way to quantum leap and to truly become the embodied identity of the version of you that you want to be. It is not just manifesting and doing these rituals and in the morning. It's who you be on a day to day. And that first has to start with clarity. And the clarity comes by how we treat our body, by what we feed our minds with. And it starts with really identifying. And it's going to sound crass, but I'm going to say it's going to make a lot of sense. When you just think about this, when you eat crappy food, did you notice you think crappy thoughts and then you do crappy things? Meaning you sit on your sofa, you don't do the workout, you gossip about this person, you scroll some more, you stay up late again, you overeat some more, then you tell yourself what a bad person you are. And here's another week that's gone by that you haven't done anything. Did you notice when you eat life-giving foods? I talked to my cousin about this, and I was talking about, I'm like, that food's dead. And she's like, what? I've never heard that before. I go, it lives in bags and boxes. I was like, it doesn't need anything to survive. It's dead. It's not real. And she's like, oh, it makes so much sense. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, life-giving foods, they live in the refrigerator. They cannot last past a week. They are vibrant in color. They have nutrients. They are giving your body nutrients. They are awakening. They're giving oxygen. So when you eat positive foods, you think positive thoughts. You take positive inspired actions, and then you want to rinse and repeat that. The body is your vessel for all manifestation and creation. It has to start there. And the more you fine tune your vessel, the more you're with you and you grow in your intuitive gifts. And when you fine tune this vessel, the more you do, the more you trust yourself into what it's guiding you to. And you stop outsourcing your power to everybody else to tell you what your soul is calling you to. I teach something called Soul Speak. And Soul Speak is what I call the filter of our minds, the filter that our soul gave us to hear what it is that it really wants us to hear that day. And Soul Speak is when you're listening to me right now, you're hearing something that's distinct for you. There's something that I'm saying that is reaching your heart, that's calling to you. It's hitting you on a cellular level. That is your soul speaking to you. Just like you could come out of a movie and 4 other people, and one person's like, that was awful. Another person's crying and they're like, it spoke to my heart. The other person's like, that was awesome. Another person's like, there was something in that movie. There was one line, and I'm reflecting on it. It really spoke to me. Everyone's going to get something different because their soul is speaking to them differently based off of what they need. And that soul filter, Soul Speak, is happening through social media. It's happening in music, lyrics, in things that you're watching, in conversations that you pick up on. We could call it eavesdropping. I call it your soul's getting your attention. And so once we do that, and we start to I encourage everybody to get a little journal. It's like, what did my soul guide me to today? Because I guarantee there was a prayer, there was an ask, there was an answer to something that's been on your mind, that you've been needing, that you've been wanting. And this is just a piece of what we do in the process of reinvention, because reinvention starts with you. It's not about you and you dying off. It's about going, God, I love you. You're so amazing. I know the truth of you, but you've only let the world see about 10, 30, maybe even 60%, but there's so much more to go. And could you step into the fear and have full faith in where you're going, and know that the version of you that you fully allow unleashed, that you allow your full expression, that you allow yourself to take up space and to be seen, that you give your dreams time and space with you, that you step into being visible and allow yourself that gift, that when you do that, that the people that you love are going to get to love even more of you because they're finally getting to know all of you, that what you're really wanting to create and experience in the world, that extraordinary life, it's always been here. It was just waiting for you to step into your greatness, to see it and to feel it and have it reflected back to you. That extraordinary love, whether in partnership or looking for it, it exists and it's there once you step into your greatness and allow it to unfold into extraordinary. And so that is the call. And I believe right now more than ever, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of things that are pulling you in different directions and a lot out there, a lot of myths around what it's supposed to look like and feel like. And when you're in your flow, it's just so easy. No, stepping into your ideal identity, that highest next version of you, it's scary. And it will always require something of you where you're having to face a next version of you, a level that you're afraid to be, where you have to, but I'm going to tell you, like, yeah, it's not, oh my God, it's just so flow. Like, I just know it. Like when that's a myth, and it's a myth that so many buy into, that when you're aligned, it's just so effortless. Yeah, that happens. And it's great. But that's not every day. When you have to step into your next level, you have to consciously choose it. We have a road, a crossroads every day, multiple times a day, to either stay the same or choose the path unknown. You're either going to go higher or you're going to go in your comfort zone. Every moment of every day. What are you going to have for breakfast? Am I going to go for that cereal, or am I actually going to choose the high protein breakfast that I read about yesterday? Because I've been struggling with my weight and I've had cortisol. Which one am I going to do? Ooh, wow. Am I going to be on time for that meeting, or am I going to be late? Oh, interesting. Am I going to say that thing that's coming that really needs to be said right now, or I'm going to shove it down? Crossroads. It's up to you. And my partner asked me this: am I going to tell them what I'm really thinking, or am I going to say that I'm fine and put it down a bucket of resentment? Crossroads every day, multiple times. We're always given the option of whether we're going to go higher or whether we're going to stay the same. And when we're being called to reinvention, that call doesn't go away, lady loves. That call is going to wake you up in the middle of the night. That call is that idea that you have to write that book, that idea that you have to become a coach, that idea that you have to speak on stage, that idea that you have to start that family or to travel here or to do this. That's not going to leave you if it's what your soul is calling you to. It's just going to get louder. And then the question is, are you going to answer the call? Are you going to trust in what you're being guided to? So another myth that I hear all the time is, oh, I didn't get a sign, so it just must not be meant to be. No, the feeling that you have in your body never lies. Your body is telling you all the time. So the sign that you're looking for, you create the signs. Yes, I love looking for signs, but sometimes not getting the sign is your sign. Your body knows. Are you disappointed? When you go, I always do this when I go to order food and say I'm between, like, I'm making something up here, steak and salmon. And I'm like, which one's better? And he's like, oh, the salmon's so good. And inside I'm like, man, I wish he said steak. I know what I want. I don't need a sign. You know what you want. So we really want to get around the myth of outsourcing what's right for us. Well, I've really been waiting for my sign. I don't know if it's the right time for me. No, you decide the sign. You are the creator of your life and your reality. If you want the sign, you're going to get a sign. But the sign sometimes that comes, you'll know by the way that you feel. So I really want to get away from so much of this outsourcing of our power and start to inner source to know what we're being guided to, what we're being called to. Right. And the other that, oh my God, when, if you're just an energetic match for money, it just flows. When you're just an energetic match, you have to believe. An energetic match that, like, yes, everything, I do believe everything is energy, and I'm not saying, but when I hear a lot of coaches talking about, well, it's just so easy and like just align energetically and you really don't have to do much. And then once you do that, so it's like the people come and it's like, no, you have to put effort forth. And yes, money is energy. Absolutely. But you still have to create offers. You still have to create a purpose for the money to come to you. But at the end of the day, it's your belief. Guys, manifestation is nothing without belief. You are nothing. Everything that you have in your life, everything that's reflected out to you right now is all based off of what you believe you're deserving and worthy of. Every belief that you have. Every belief, and every belief that you have around things that you struggle with is what you're experiencing in your outer reality. It's called the law of assumption, right? By Neville Goddard. What we assume to be true is what ends up being our truth. It's what's reflected back to you. So when we're looking at reinvention, the call to arms is to change the narrative. The call to arms is to actually give you the framework, one, where we actually look at spiritual nutrition. The body is the vessel for all creation. Two, we go into cellular healing. And what is cellular healing? It's understanding. It's how I healed myself of cancer. When I was told it came back, I literally, well, at first I had a full breakdown. And then I dropped to my knees and I was like, God, I'm at a loss. I've done everything. I've like rearranged my entire business. I'm like pursuing my dreams, created everything. And then I heard you're healed. And I was like, yeah. And I heard you're healthy. And I was like, I am healthy. I feel healthy. I am healed. And why am I don't care what my doctor said. And I don't care what they found in that scan. And no, I'm not buying into this. And I drew a line in the sand and I sat with myself and I said, okay, higher self, tell me what I need to know. And it was like, you're healthy, you're healed. Do not talk to anybody that doesn't subscribe to what you believe to be true about you and your health. Don't give in to the fear. You have this power over your body to heal. You are done. It is done. And that's what I did. And for the next 8 weeks, I did not talk to anybody that didn't believe that I was whole, healthy, and healed. I didn't obsess about it. I didn't talk about it. I did do self-hypnosis on myself. I prayed. And I also heard, live your best life. Live in accordance with what you would do should you have never received this phone call. And that is what I did. And I had the time of my life. And 8 weeks later, when I went and I got my scan, my doctor called me and he said, we can't find it. There's nothing there. So he was beside himself. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. This is crazy. We can't. And I knew exactly what happened. And that was back in 2018. So, or I'm sorry, 2018. It's 2025. My point with this is that what you create, what you say, impacts you cellularly. This is scientifically proven that we can change on a cellular level. So in order to shift our identity, in order to eradicate our fears, in order to become our next level, we have to look at our body cellularly. This is not just regulating your nervous system. This is you shifting out of a fear-based or old identities that aren't serving you and changing them cellularly. It's like when we look at gene keys, you are not predestined to have issues with your body or this or that. And you have the opportunity to change that at any time. So in the process of reinvention, we start with the body as the vessel for all creation. And we go into spiritual nutrition and understanding the energetics of food and our narrative and how they impact our body, and really understanding how to fine tune. Because I can also tell you this, I teach on how to expand your intuitive gifts. That is your superpower, lady loves. You have the power to create life. Yes, we all are born with different intuitive gifts. I know that I too was born very early on with the knowing, right? Full clairvoyant, knowing, clairsentient, clairaudient. And you can develop this. And once you do, again, you inner source everything. And that's when life becomes completely magical. But we really want to understand that really, really shifting on a cellular level. Your body is comprised 73% of water, and we can change our cellular makeup. It is incredible, right? This is our field, our vortex. And then we go into reprogramming the subconscious mind. And what we do with that is truly rewiring your mind, getting rid of the narratives that are no longer serving you and creating belief, because belief is the knowing state. That is when you believe that your success is inevitable. It doesn't matter what you want to do or who you want to be in the world. Everything that you desire comes from that belief, but we have to actually extract the beliefs that have been getting in the way. And earlier, when I talked about this today, that's the nuanced narrative. Those are the subconscious programs that block us and stop us, right? So that piece is imperative. And then you have the final identity shift. And that's your true reinvention. And that's when you really step into that next level. But we can't get there just through act as if, and who would your future self guide you to today? Like, I love that. But that gets you thinking in that vein, and it's awesome. But when you really want to dramatically change your life, your body, your health, your bank account, if you want to dramatically sit there and step into your purpose, that's going to take a next level of you. And that version of you happens through showing up, through stepping into her, through doing the things that are going to feel different than who you've been, but they're going to feel good, because finally your soul's going, oh my God, you're doing it. Like, you're doing it. You know, it's like when you watch a kid and they're like learning to ride a bike or they're learning to walk, and you're like, oh my God, yes, like you did it. And that's essentially what our soul is doing, because we're coming back to who we were always meant to be. See, you came into this world not having any limits on who you get to be or how you get to live or what's available to you. That didn't happen until culture, society, family dynamics, and other people's projections and beliefs about you end up getting put on you. And then as the chameleon, as the empath and the intuitive, since nobody taught you, right? We're talking to women, really 40 and over here. This was not mainstream. There were like psychics. If you were like me going to Catholic school, there were psychics and like fortune tellers, like crystal balls. But when I was sitting there and I just knew things, and my mom was like, how do you know that? And my mom was told she had the gift, and I'm sitting there and I was like, this feels kind of scary. Like, this doesn't feel right. Like, is there something wrong with me? I don't know why I know. And, I would always get told, you're such an old soul. And I would have adults ask me for advice when I was like, I'll never forget walking down the beach with one of like my mom's friends. We were at like a soccer tournament, and she's opening up to me about her divorce. I was like 12, and she's asking me for guidance. And did I think her husband was going to come back? And I'm like telling her guidance. And I look back and I'm like, I was 12 years old. And those things can feel different and hard to understand. And you can feel misunderstood. And what we know about our society and culture, and as being animals by nature, is we just want to conform. We want to fit in. We're taught at a very early age not to stand out. Don't be unique. You dress like everybody else. I went to all girls private Catholic school. We had a uniform. 12 years, guys, 12 years. I would not advise that across the board. But I say this because I have to move because my foot's falling asleep. I say this because what happens is when you are in those environments, and if you were in Catholic school, if you were, Catholic, Jewish, like it's like whatever religious affiliation, if you were raised in that, then there is a lot of guilt and shame. There was a lot of guilt and shame. There was a lot of pretenses as a woman on how you were supposed to act, how you're supposed to dress, who you're supposed to be. And there was high expectations on what that was supposed to look like. And it was already filtered. So having to extract that from your identity to have you be the woman that you're being called to and what's really on your heart, it can feel really scary. And it can feel like, well, I don't know, like, is that like, that feels like a lot. And I want to say it's the most empowering, epic thing that you can do, because when you come home to you, it is the most beautiful, empowering, epic experience to trust yourself, to trust your voice, to create from your heart, to create what's authentic and true for you, and to know that this is your one bold, beautiful life in this lifetime, I believe. And you're going to do it all, and that you don't want any regrets, and that you're going to show up and you're going to go all in, and that you're going to sit there and there's no such thing as failure, because you're like, I tried and I did it, and I no longer let anything stand in my way. And I really allowed myself to see what I was made of and what I was here for. And what if you allowed yourself the gift and the privilege to give yourself that grace to see who you truly are? And I think you're going to really surprise yourself. In fact, I think you're going to blow yourself away. I know that in my experience, and I'll just tell you a little bit, I came from Irish Italian, parents married for 55 years, so in love. And it was a very traditional household that I grew up in. The women did not have, they did not have the floor in the conversation. It was my brothers and my father. They talked business, they talked money, and my mom and I would go out and we'd go to Marshall's and TJ Maxx. And my mother's voice, as with my own, were very, very quiet, if you will. And anger was not a thing, and getting really sad was not a thing either. It was be happy, be pretty, be pleasing to others, and the catering. And what I see so often too, especially in that, is we often will sacrifice ourselves, our desires, and taking care of ourselves to prioritize other people. And I'm going to tell you right now, at this day and age, women can no longer sacrifice themselves and not prioritize their health. It's just can't happen. And we're seeing it. We're seeing so many with autoimmune, and I mean, the issues are staggering and keep increasing. And it's really, I believe, this lack of self-expression, this lack of authentic allowance of self has really created a lot of illness in the body. Dis-ease is, it's disease within the body. It's a dissonance. It's a disallowance. And I'm seeing it so much with women struggling with their weight and hormone and fertility and thyroid issues. And a lot of it has come from a suppression of expression. And I think now more than ever, women have an epic opportunity and a lot that they want to say and that they want to share and want to create and want to help others. And that's my primary reason for being here. So when you're looking at what that next step is for you, I want to guide you to, and I really want you to just think about this right now. And this is so, so, so important, because again, reinvention isn't about strategy and it's not about more hustle, right? Reinvention is reprogramming who you believe you are. And when you become that version of you, everything changes and your results are truly inevitable, right? And so when I started off, and I said this, guys, and I just want to say this again, women in midlife, in transition, have you ever asked yourself, is this it? Right? Is this it? And no matter what's going on, if you're recently divorced, lost a loved one, empty nesting, career pivoting, if you've been everything to everyone, have you found that you've lost yourself in this? And are you finding yourself feeling afraid that somehow you made a misstep, that you made a wrong decision, that you should have done something? I find that many in midlife, I myself included, it's very easy to look back and think about what if, the path not taken. And I want to tell you that path not taken is not lost. It's not lost. It's right here, right now. And there is no path not taken. because whatever you chose, whatever you've lived up until now was absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. And it's setting the stage for your next level. But that next level, you're at that crossroads again. And it's up to you what you want to create. Because now more than ever, guys, we have all the energies, everything working in our favor to support us. And I believe your soul came here at a time when you have the freedom of this expression, when you have this massive level of opportunities to create wealth, to create an extraordinary life, to create the body, the ideal scenario of what you've always wanted to live. And so if you're successful, but you don't feel fulfilled anymore, if you know you're meant for more and you're done waiting, and if you truly want to have it all, I have to tell you, I remember it was multiple. This is another myth that I need to bust right now. The have it all, but not at the same time. I don't believe that to be true. I actually believe that when you expand your vessel of what you can hold energetically, and when you're in the excited anticipation and expectation of the things that you're bringing into your life, then I do believe you can have them all. I do believe that they can come at the same time. But expanding that vessel means expanding your capacity to receive, and it means expanding your ability, your level of belief, right? So we're done doing, I'm just going to say, the masculine driven success, burnout, overgiving, people pleasing. Guys, the people pleasing, I want you to please yourself. No more waiting for permission and prioritizing everyone else and feeling disconnected. That's not you. It's the conditioning. It's just been your conditioning. And the invitation is it's time for you to break it, right? And so what this really looks like and what we're being called to now is divine feminine leadership. It's living by intuition and alignment and energetic truth. It's redefining wealth, success, love. Success is success and love. Success, love, and worthiness. And we're no longer, really declare this. You're no longer available for struggle, for scarcity, or for playing small, right? And this is truly when we come into identity shifting versus strategy. Identity shifting versus strategy. And I truly, and I will sing this till the cows come home, and I've seen it firsthand. This is the secret to success, because strategy without self-worth equals self-sabotage. I'm going to say it again. I really need you guys. Strategy without self-worth equals self-sabotage. And that's like that, hands down, whether it's your weight, making money, your purpose, showing up differently, love, you have to be deeply connected to your self-worth, or else you will self-sabotage. Your body is your bank account. How you feel equals what you receive, right? And that true transformation is from the inside out. And so reinvention isn't just mindset, it's cellular, it's spiritual, and it's energetic, right? So I want you guys to take a moment right now. And I really just want you to think, this is like a mini identity activation. I want you to ask and just go inward with yourself and close your eyes and place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. Two beautiful centers. And I want you to ask and just see what you hear. Who am I becoming? Just listen and stay with your eyes closed and connected inwardly. And if you're driving right now, I got the message. I hear you. If you're driving, I'll put this in the chat. Who am I becoming? What am I being called to? What am I being called to? What does she believe? What does she believe? What does she no longer tolerate? That's a really big one, guys. What does she no longer tolerate? Because many of you, and I'm calling on the empathic, intuitive woman in her 40s who has lived a life as a chameleon, i.e., people pleasing. Maybe she has a lot of success, but she's not fulfilled. She knows she's meant for more. This version, though, that you need to be, she has really strong boundaries. That version, what does she no longer tolerate? And I'll put these in the chat for her, for you. If you guys have any questions, I know I have a line up here, but any other questions that have come through, let me know. And so here's the thing. Energy, and I had said everything is energy, it's embodiment, right? So when I talk about reinvention and why I believe it trumps manifestation, and what I see is, I don't believe you need to wait for alignment. I believe you create it. And this isn't about vision boards. It's about becoming the version of you that already has it all. And she believes in the vision board. See, vision boards are lovely and they're fun to create. But if you don't actually believe they're going to happen, or if they feel so far-fetched, then they're actually an energetic reminder of what you're not. And so if we look at it and we don't believe, then we clearly know where we are in our own identity. So the method that I teach, that I'm inviting you all to today, is identity, body, intuition, your energetics, and reprogramming the mind. So this is your shifting your identity, the body being the vessel for all creation, and connecting you to expand your own intuition, and really working on your energetics. And that piece, energetics, is huge. Energetics of everything we ingest to all that we be and how we move, to reprogram your mind and the embodiment of this version. This is the next level success through self-love and cellular transformation, right? Because worthiness, weight, love, money, and energy, it's all connected. I cannot tell you, when I said that I've worked with thousands, but I could tell you the number of the hours of coaching calls and oh my, it's all the same. As it's money, love, and energy. They're all the exact same energy, and they're all tied to your worth. And if you don't feel worthy, then you won't allow yourself to have the body, the bank account, or really step into who you're meant to be. And reinvention heals the relationship with your body, with food, with money, with love, and with you in the mirror, because it's about you with you. When you see you as the version that you've always wanted to be, the version that is empowered, the version that shows up confidently, the version that's in alignment and in our purpose and is lit up by life and is excited and is not like, oh, it's another day, I'm so tired, but oh my God, I'm so excited by today. What do I get to do? This is so cool. Everything I do creates for me. What am I going to say today, right? When we are in that space, then we honor the body, we honor ourselves, we honor ourselves in the mirror. We love who we see. We are our soulmate, right? So this is the whole woman work, which always makes me laugh because I have a program called The Whole Woman, and it's no surface level solutions, right? But the call is to the awakened woman That's who I'm really talking to here. This is the awakened woman. You're not asleep. You're here because you know that there's more. And we're not meant to do this alone. And you feel the pull because you're ready. But I'm here to remind you that you're not broken. You're just being reborn. Reborn to be the version of you that you were always meant to be. But you are not broken, and there is nothing wrong with you, and there was never a missed opportunity, ever. Okay? You're exactly where you're meant to be. I promise you. So what I want to tell you before we continue on is the Reinvention program and your invitation today. And if your soul said yes, as I've been talking during this call, it's not a coincidence. This is truly the calling, right? And truly what we're doing in Reinvention is it's a 6-month container for mentorship and coaching. And what's truly included, I created a program that I always wanted, that I saw myself doing. And I would work with my private clients and I would tell them, we did your process of reinvention. They were like, this should be a program. Well, it's like, this is incredible what we did here. And the transformations were epic. And it was amazing what transpired. And so I know that in the process of reinvention, we need high levels of accountability. We want support. We need a plan to follow. And we also need the freedom to really grow our own intuition and our intuitive gifts so that we can go fly at the end, right? And so what's included in this container, and if this is for you, I'm going to put a link here for you to apply. It is by application only, and we have a few spots left. We are starting this month. But this container, it is the first portion of this is around identity, and the second portion is around your purpose. And what we do with this is we actually have I'll be teaching it live. So we have our course modules, and then we have our group Q&A, and these are your alignment and Q&A sessions where we really talk about how to apply the material and answer all your questions. Then you have private sessions with me that are fully custom to you. And we also have a retreat, and we have your workbooks to follow along with our group community. So it's all encompassing, it's everything, but you're surrounded by other like-minded, awakened women who are going higher. And there is nothing more potent and powerful than being in the creation and manifestation with others that are doing the same work and having that energy come together, because everything gets heightened and everything moves that much more quickly. So this is the program for clarity, confidence, connections, your clients, your cash flow, right? This is truly about stepping into the version of you. No more, well, I'd like to lose this much weight and I'd like to do this and maybe someday I'll start. It's like, no, we get to go for it and we get to go big, and let's go all in and see what we create in the next 6 months. What would it be like to bet on yourself, and who better to invest in than you, right? So we're not here to wait, right? We're here to become. And so this is the program. Let me put this here. And I know many of you are waiting for the coaching. Thank you for your patience. But I've loved having you. And I love that so much of this is resonating. These comments are amazing. And let me get this for you right here. And Mary, can you put that, can you put the link in the chat for me, please? Okay. Oh. And I'm just going to put this here. Thanks, guys, for your patience, because I never know. Tech, you've got to love tech. I'm doing like 100 things. And my froggy voice. All right. Do. And the other thing that I wanted to say before we go, so when you go there, yeah, so Lisa, when you go, you can click that link. We are, guys, I can say, we have a few spots. This is for a specific woman. She's awake. She's ready. She's ready for dramatic changes in her life. And she's all in, and she's just like, I'm here. I'm going for the gold. And that's who this woman is. So if that is you, then let's talk. And you will talk with me specifically, because I'm really kind of vetting everyone that's in this container. It's really, really special, and I'm very, 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 very excited for it. So like I said, this is for awakened women who's really ready for that transformation. She doesn't want to keep piecemealing it together. She's done reading the book, listening to this video, listening to that one, or, you know, buying programs that she never actually does. This is, I want high levels of accountability. I want high level coaching, and I'm all in. And what I will tell you is this, as I said earlier, as somebody, I have coached many women that have come to me and they were really burned by past experiences. I myself had been burned by making high level investments and really being cautious about what I was going to invest in again, because there were a lot of promises. You know, this is where the call to arms is really connecting with yourself and knowing what you're being called to. And I know when I created this, like I said, I never saw a program. I have not seen a program like this that does the hybrid of the group and the intense private, as well as having a live experience. And I wanted somebody, I know I love when I'm in the energy of my teacher live, right? And so I wanted to be able to do that too. Not that there's anything wrong. I have digital courses and incredible programs that are amazing, and amazing testimonials and results. I just knew for this program. So if you want to be in my energy and have me live working with you, then this is the time. And this is the invitation. So I'm not sure if I will run it again live. So that being said, going into reinvention, I want you guys to think about, and I really want you to look at and ask yourself, if any and all things were possible, if money weren't an option, if my success was inevitable, what would I do? What would be my life? What would it look like? And don't get caught up in, well, this wouldn't be realistic, or this wouldn't make sense. Or I want you to really ask yourself, if any and all things are possible, what would I love? Like, what would make me so happy? What would make me feel excited by life? You know, I've been having quite a few conversations with women that just don't feel as excited by life anymore. And I believe that's just because they're caught in believing that either they're going to get discovered or something needs to happen for them, as opposed to knowing that the power lives inside of them. And it starts with your imagination, and it starts with your creation. And you really getting into the space of asking yourself, what would I love? And allowing yourself to go there in all the ways and just start to write it all down, everything. And I want you to really say out loud, and I want you to hold this affirmation true for you. This is really important. And I want you to write this down. Oh, did it go away? No, it did. Hold on, guys. 1 second, because it's really good. Apparently, I'm telling you, I'm not a medicine girl, but I feel like my head's gonna explode. Okay, here it is. I want you to say, I am the woman who has it all. I am the woman who has it all. And it gets to be easy now. Now. Not a year from now, not when I lose the weight, not when I find the love, not when I make the millions, not after I launch, not when I get this many clients, not if I get that raise or if this happens. I am the woman who has it all, and it gets to be easy now, in this moment, right now, for me, without question, guys. Because it does. But understand that your words are creating for you at all times. Your words. everything, every narrative that you have. I want you to think right now, what have you thought about today? And just notice that everything you thought and told yourself has happened. Everything, right? So let's just drop into this. And I'm going to ask you guys, I want you to get a pen and paper, and I want to hear from you in the chat, okay? These are really going to get you going and get you thinking about who you believe yourself to be. So what parts of me no longer feel aligned? Where am I shrinking, hiding, or people pleasing? What parts of me no longer feel aligned? Where am I shrinking, hiding, or people pleasing? So I want you guys really look at that. Okay. Ooh, these are good. Where am I shrinking, hiding? Yeah. People pleasing with friends. So as when we're not showing up, so I love this. It's you're shrinking by not showing up on social media. So, when we're shrinking, and Valerie, that's beautiful. And thank you for sharing and vulnerably sharing. When we do that, guys, it really comes from our fear of being seen, and it's a fear of judgment. And what I want to say, and it can feel really scary. And that's why this whole, like, when you're in alignment, everything just flows and it feels so easy. It's like, no, like every day I have to do something, guys, that scares me, or that's new, or that's different, or that pushes me out of my comfort zone in some way. I mean, whether it was writing books, podcast, speaking on my TED Talk, I mean, just every day, honestly, different interviews, my YouTube channel. I mean, there are things that I'm always needing to do, and it requires a different level of me. It requires a level of certainty, confidence, just showing up and doing it anyway, right? And so the shrinking, honestly, it comes from a fear. It's what we could call a visibility wound, right? And that fear of being seen, it's often because you were judged or ridiculed and not accepted in the past, or at least that was your perception. And everything does go back to childhood. And so often when we really have a fear around showing up in a bigger way, it was more times than not because when we did at some time when we were younger, unfortunately, we're not in a Zoom room where I can take you off mute, but if you want to put in the chat what experience comes to mind for you. But for everybody else, often there was a point in time where our mind set up for survival and we got told it wasn't safe. It wasn't safe to speak up. It wasn't safe to have our needs met. It wasn't safe to be seen. It wasn't safe to be ourselves. So as chameleons, we learned to let that part go away, to that wasn't something that we were going to do, that it wasn't okay. And we learned to play the supporting role because being seen wasn't appreciated. It wasn't loved, it wasn't accepted, and it wasn't celebrated. And so if that's you, then that's going to show up. And we have to look at that and then create the new identity and then really heal that cellularly so that it's no longer stopping you, right? And the fastest and easiest way is honestly to just start showing up and to prove to that version of you that it's okay, and to let her know that it's okay, because it's a part, right? It's a part. And speaking with those parts and healing those parts is an important part for the 100th time in that process. How many times did I just say part? I want to ask you guys this. If you were fully embodying the woman that you want to be, what would you believe about yourself? What would you believe about yourself? If you were fully embodying the woman that you wanted to be, what would you believe about yourself? That I'm successful. Ah, Margaret, yes. That I'm lovable. Yes, absolutely. Elisa, that's so good. That I'm wanted. Yes. Yeah, because you are. If I were fully embodying the woman I want to be, what would I believe about myself? That's what that was, Christy. Yeah. That I'm fabulous. Yes, 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 girl. Didn't Deni did I say is Denia? Is that right? I hope so. Yes. So here's a great parallel question. What would you stop doing immediately? If you were fully embodying the woman that you want to be, what would you stop doing immediately? Maybe making yourself feel wrong, overeating, expecting the other shoe to drop, not looking at your bank account. That's a good one. Yeah. So my last question before we go into this activation is, what would change if you deeply trusted yourself and followed your knowing? What would change if you deeply trusted yourself and followed your knowing? Let me put this here. What would change if you deeply trusted yourself and followed your knowing? What do you think would change? What do you guys think? You'd be pursuing your dream. Yeah. Kathy, that's a good one. So I want to hear what your dream is, girl. You'd feel more at peace. Yes. Yeah. It's powerful, right? If you trusted yourself and followed your knowing, that would be really powerful, wouldn't it? Because as chameleons, the people pleasing, the empaths, we stop trusting ourselves because we can fear our own intuition. And we've learned to outsource our power to so many others. And so it can be really hard to discern what our truth is and to come back into that full knowing and full faith and trust in ourselves. Because when we did act in accordance with our intuition, or when we did show up just fully as ourselves, we weren't accepted. And somehow we were either put down, made fun of, or made wrong in some way. So over the years, we stopped trusting. We stopped being in that aligned space, right? And it didn't feel safe. And so coming back into that knowing would feel really peaceful and powerful, right? Because then you could just trust in your decisions. The indecision is when it stemmed from childhood, when you were made wrong and you were taught to second guess yourself. because you being you wasn't really allowed. It wasn't okay. Or if it was okay, it wasn't necessarily celebrated in a positive way. So when that happens, we stop trusting ourselves and we go into massive indecision. Because when we did make decisions from a powerful place, then they were questioned over and over again. And when something gets questioned and we're constantly judged over and over again as children, then we stop believing that what our decisions are, we stop having faith in them, and we learn to live life with massive indecision and outsourcing our power and needing somebody else's acceptance and approval. So reinvention, again, is about coming into your power fully and coming into wholeness, and to no longer being anything less than or other than you, right? Yeah, beautiful. And so I just want you guys, close your eyes, and you're going to take a deep breath in. And this is just it's a beautiful identity activation. This just gives a taste of some of what we do in reinvention. But close your eyes and take a deep breath in and let go of everything that doesn't serve the woman you are becoming. Just take a deep inhale in. And on the exhale, we're letting go of everything that doesn't serve the woman you're becoming. Any aspects that don't serve the woman you're becoming, we're just going to let that go, let it go, let it go. And I want you to imagine yourself, still eyes closed, breathing deep, 6 months from now. You're walking into a room. Your energy arrives before you do. She's here. The version of you who chose herself. The woman who's unapologetically embodied, magnetic, and abundant. She's radiant. Her presence is felt. She's confident, clear, and fully expressed. She trusts herself. She loves her body. She moves through the world as that main character, star energy, because she is. All eyes are on her. She has it all. She's empowered and confident and beautiful. Now breathe her in. Feel her confidence fill your chest. Feel her ease drop into your shoulders. Feel her joy rise in your belly. Feel her in every ounce of your being, from head to toe. Feel her. And know that you are her. You've always been her. Repeat in your heart and out loud after me. I remember who I am. I am safe to be powerful. I am safe to be seen. I am safe to have it all. I choose to no longer delay my desires. I choose to become her now. I am the woman who has it all on her terms. Now smile, embody, breathe into your next level self. She's not someday, she's now. Open your eyes. Take a deep breath in. You are her. This is your time. And the invitation is mine to come to Reinvention. So I'm going to put this link again here. I would love to have you. It is by application and conversation only to join. And I will put this here. And I love you all so much. This was incredible. And thank you all for your time and your energy and for being here. On that note, I am going to go and take an Epsom salt bath and get my head back on straight here. I love you guys so much, and I look forward to meeting all of you. All my love. Oh, Veronica, thank you so much, honey. I love you guys. Thank you for being here.